You know, when you think about smartphones today, it's hard not to notice the wide price gap between devices from different countries. Take Japan, for example. Japanese smartphones are often perceived as more expensive than their counterparts from other regions, especially when compared to brands popular in the US like Apple or Samsung. So why is that? What makes Japanese smartphones cost more? It's a question that's been on the minds of many tech enthusiasts, travelers and consumers both in the US and Japan alike. To really understand this, we need to dig into several factors: economic, technological, cultural, and even regulatory, that influence the pricing of smartphones in Japan. It's a complex picture, but one that reveals a lot about how different markets operate and what consumers value in each country. First off, let's talk about the technological innovation and quality standards that Japanese manufacturers tend to uphold. Japan has long been known as a leader in electronics and precision manufacturing. Companies like Sony, Sharp, and Fujitsu have built a reputation for producing devices that are incredibly durable, reliable, and packed with advanced features. Unlike some mass-market brands that focus on cutting costs to maximize profits, Japanese companies often prioritize quality and longevity. That means their smartphones are built with premium materials, sophisticated engineering, and often include unique features tailored to local needs, like water resistance, dust proofing, or specialized camera technology. Now, these high standards come at a cost. Using top-quality components, rigorous testing, and ensuring devices meet stringent safety and durability standards naturally drive up manufacturing expenses. When a device is built to last longer and perform better in demanding environments, think of Japan's humid weather or seismic activity. Manufacturers need to invest more in research and development, quality assurance, and sourcing premium parts. All of these factors contribute to higher retail prices. Another aspect to consider is the consumer market in Japan itself. Japanese consumers tend to be very particular about their technology. They often prefer phones with a certain level of sophistication, design excellence, and features that cater to their specific needs. For example, many Japanese smartphones come with localized features like built-in mobile payment options compatible with local transit systems, NFC-enabled features for convenience, or specialized camera functions for capturing high-quality images in various conditions. These tailored features, while adding value for local users, also add to production costs. Furthermore, Japanese carriers and service providers play a significant role. In Japan, mobile carriers often bundle devices with their service plans, and these plans can be more premium, offering better customer support, exclusive features, or early access to new models. The cost structure built into these bundles can sometimes make the upfront price of a Japanese smartphone seem higher, but it's part of a broader ecosystem that emphasizes quality service. Let's not forget the regulatory environment. Japan has very strict import regulations, safety standards, and certification processes. Meeting these standards requires additional testing, compliance measures, and certification costs, all of which are passed on to the consumer. In comparison, some other countries might have more lenient standards or different certification processes, which can reduce manufacturing costs and ultimately retail prices. Another interesting factor is the size of the market. Japan's population is relatively small compared to the US, and the market isn't as large for certain high-end devices. This means manufacturers often produce smaller quantities of smartphones specifically tailored for Japanese consumers. Smaller production runs can lead to higher per-unit costs because economies of scale aren't as favorable. Additionally, Japanese consumers tend to prefer more premium, feature-rich phones, which are inherently more expensive to produce and sell. Now contrast that with the US market, where consumers often prioritize different features, like larger screens, battery life, or camera quality, and are more accustomed to paying less for devices, especially when they opt for carrier discounts, installment plans, or refurbished options. US brands, especially those catering to mass market appeal, often focus on economies of scale, mass production, and aggressive marketing to keep prices down. This isn't necessarily the case in Japan, where the emphasis is often on quality, durability, and localized features, which can drive up costs. Another point worth mentioning is the import and distribution costs. Many Japanese smartphones are designed primarily for the local market, and importing them to other countries like the US can be expensive due to tariffs, shipping, and distribution fees. Conversely, US brands, or those manufactured in the US or elsewhere, may have more streamlined distribution channels that help keep prices competitive. And then there's the brand perception and consumer expectations. In Japan, smartphone brands are often associated with high status, reliability, and cutting-edge technology. Many Japanese consumers are willing to pay a premium for these qualities, viewing their smartphones as an extension of their lifestyle and personal identity. This willingness to invest more in a device that lasts longer and performs better can justify higher retail prices from a marketing perspective. Let's also consider the role of innovation. Japanese manufacturers are often at the forefront of developing new technologies. Think of the early adoption of waterproofing, advanced camera sensors, or high-resolution displays. These innovations come with R&D costs that need to be recouped, which again impacts the final price of the device. On top of that, Japanese smartphones often come with a higher level of customer support and after-sales service. Many Japanese consumers expect comprehensive warranties, prompt repairs, and dedicated customer service, which adds to the overall cost structure for manufacturers. These added benefits contribute to the higher prices, but also enhance consumer trust and satisfaction. Now, what about the global perspective? As Japanese smartphones become more available in the US and other markets, consumers might wonder if they're worth the premium. Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If durability, localized features, and a reputation for quality are priorities, then Japanese phones could be worth the extra money. But if budget-friendly options with more mainstream features are your focus, then brands from other regions might be more suitable. It's also worth noting that the smartphone market is constantly evolving. The rise of Chinese manufacturers like Huawei, Xiaomi, and OnePlus has introduced high-quality devices at competitive prices, challenging traditional pricing norms. These brands often offer feature-rich smartphones with lower price tags, which has pushed other manufacturers, including Japanese ones, to innovate and adjust their pricing strategies as well. In recent years, we've also seen Japanese brands trying to adapt to these market shifts by offering more affordable options, yet still emphasizing their core strengths: quality, durability, and localization. This shift reflects a broader trend where Japanese manufacturers balance their reputation for excellence with the need to stay competitive globally. So, to sum it all up, Japanese smartphones tend to be more expensive due to a combination of high manufacturing standards, premium materials, localized features, regulatory compliance costs, smaller production runs, and a consumer base that values quality and durability. These factors collectively drive up the cost but also deliver devices that are often seen as more reliable and long-lasting. At the end of the day, whether a Japanese smartphone is worth the premium depends on what the consumer values most, be it advanced technology, build quality, localized features, or simply brand prestige. For the US audience, understanding these nuances helps make more informed choices when considering a device from Japan or comparing it with other global options. And for Japanese consumers, it's about balancing the desire for top-tier quality and innovative features with the costs involved. It's a reflection of a culture that places a high premium on craftsmanship, reliability, and technological excellence, a mindset that's deeply embedded in Japanese manufacturing and consumer expectations. In a world where technology is constantly advancing and markets are more interconnected than ever, these differences in pricing and features highlight just how diverse the global smartphone landscape truly is. Whether you're in the US or Japan, understanding these factors can help you appreciate not just the price tags, but the stories and standards behind every device you consider purchasing.